up your ass, you'll floss your teeth with my shoelaces, nigga. Play with me, bruh. Don't play with me, bruh. Don't play with mine, bruh. Don't play with mine. Just don't play with mine.
I remember how you and Wallow were crying. You and Wallow were crying. Oh, my son got killed. Oh, you were crying. Now you talking about snitching. You goddamn right I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Dang, I got family. I got willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Why don't play with me, man?
New footage just blasted across the internet, and it's jaw-dropping. David Bentlow caught on tape cleaning the sneakers of the very same young woman whose body would later be discovered stuffed inside his car trunk. The online world is in meltdown, and what makes it even scarier, the motive behind this clip feels way darker than it first appears. This ain't just some harmless throwback video. No, this is a chilling resurfaced tape showing David bent down low, carefully wiping Celeste's shoes like he's locked into some twisted ritual. Social media lit up in seconds.
Say about my son, what some grown man had to say about my son, man. Cause somebody please, just pull me up to speed, man. Just pull me up to speed. How some grown man had some to say about my son. Just pull me up to speed on that, man. Just pull me up to speed on that, man. What sucker ass grown as wasted his whole life doing absolutely nothing. Got something to say about my son at the beginning of his adult.
Some folks are brushing it off like it's nothing, but others are calling it straight up disturbing. And here's the kicker. Nobody knows who dropped this clip or why it's suddenly resurfacing now. Every slow wipe looks intentional, every second heavy with tension, like some hidden message is being dangled right in our faces. The burning question, why is this video back in the spotlight? And what sinister truth could it be hinting at?
I'm a nobody. Your son a nobody now.
Now let's rewind to how this nightmare first cracked open. What began as routine work for tow yard employees flipped overnight into one of the most chilling cases LA has seen in years. When the remains of Celeste Rivas Hernandez were uncovered, the entire city shifted into shock. Detectives wasted no time building a case of foul play, one that allegedly stretched all the way back to when Celeste was still alive and vulnerable. On September 8, 2025, workers at a Hollywood impound lot stumbled on the kind of discovery that haunts you forever. In the front trunk of a black 2023 Tesla, they found a bag carrying the severely decomposed body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And that Tesla registered to none other than rising musician David Anthony Burke, known simply as David.
I ain't in no gang. I got family. I got who willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Why don't play with me, man? Don't play with my child.
The car had been hauled away from the Hollywood Hills days earlier after neighbors complained of a foul stench oozing from the vehicle. That smell? It marked the start of a horror story that would rock the entire city. And the timing? Absolutely chilling. Celeste's 15th birthday fell on September 7th, just one day before her body was found. But here's the devastating part. The level of decomposition led insiders to believe she never even made it to that milestone. The stench that forced tow yard workers to call in the LAPD suggested she had been gone for months, likely since her disappearance back in April 2024. But this case isn't just another heartbreaking missing person story. It's way darker. The puzzle being pieced together through online sleuths, official police documents.
I put my foot so far up your ass, you'll floss your teeth with my Don't play with me, bruh. Don't play with me, bruh.
And even the family's own words is painting a disturbing picture of alleged predatory behavior between David and Celeste. Reports claim it may have started when she was only 11 or 12, while he was around 16 to 18. Those are straight-up grooming allegations, and they land like a bombshell. And then came the jaw-dropping detail, matching tattoos. Both David and Celeste had the exact same ink on their right index fingers, the word shh. Now, maybe on the surface, it looks like some harmless coincidence. People get matching tattoos all the time, right? But in this context, tied to everything else, that tattoo became critical evidence. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner even confirmed part of Celeste's identity through that marking, directly linking her to David in a way that's impossible to brush off. The ties didn't stop there. Celeste's own mother publicly revealed that her daughter had been seeing someone named David around the time she disappeared. That's not gossip. That's straight from her mom's mouth. And then the photos. Pictures of David lurking in Celeste's neighborhood just blocks from her home right before she vanished. That's the kind of thing that makes this whole case look darker and more deliberate than anyone first imagined.
You ain't he going to jail again. And yeah, he ain't grew up tough like his daddy.
Here's where it gets even more chilling. Celeste's home was over an hour away from where David actually lived. That means he wasn't just casually rolling through her block. He had a reason to be there, and that's what makes this evidence sting even harder. We're talking Lake Elsinore, California, nearly 70 miles east of Los Angeles. That's not just passing through. That's a full-on mission, and it screams intent. But maybe the creepiest layer of all is hidden in David's own music. Back in December 2023, just 4 months before Celeste disappeared, a demo leaked on SoundCloud with the haunting title, Celeste. That alone shook the internet.
Mom and dad raised a yellow. Yeah, that nigga T.I. son say.
But the timing? Even scarier. This wasn't some random track made after she went missing. It was created while their alleged relationship was still happening, months before she was gone for good. And those lyrics? Possessive, obsessive, laced with mentions of tattoos and physical closeness that feel way too personal. People are listening back now, questioning if that track was really music or a veiled confession. And it doesn't stop there. Discord chats from 2021 through 2023.
Pointing who did what, who, man, we was about to whoop when you come back down here from telling. Yo, I can see you had a soft.
Allegedly showed David messaging Celeste while she was still underage. The full contents haven't been revealed yet, but investigators are already combing through that digital trail piece by piece, and the weight of it could change everything. The heartbreak only deepens once you look at Celeste's past. Records reveal she had gone missing before, once in January 2024 and again in April. That means her final disappearance wasn't some random tragedy. It was part of a chilling pattern. And that pattern? It points straight to her repeatedly trying to reconnect with David. One of the most shocking revelations came from a middle school teacher who taught Celeste years earlier. That teacher explained how Celeste had vanished before, was even found in Hollywood, then returned to class, always tied back to someone matching David's description.
This is they call the laws, and they came. He over there.
This wasn't the story of a simple runaway. It painted the picture of a young girl caught under the pull of an older influence, someone who seemed to have a dangerous grip on her decisions. And then the physical evidence brought the case into even darker territory. When Celeste's remains were examined, she was described as weighing only about 71 pounds, with wavy black hair, dressed in a tube top, black leggings, a yellow chain bracelet, and a single stud earring. Alongside her distinctive tattoo, these details gave forensic experts the final confirmation they needed to identify her, ending the mystery of her disappearance after more than a year of questions. The deeper this case gets, the harder it is to call anything a coincidence. The matching tattoos, the family's own statements, photos of David in her neighborhood, the obsessive song lyrics, the repeated vanishings.
Don't play with mine. I ain't finna say no name. I don't play police game. If I go to jail, it's gonna be for something. It's gonna be for something. I don't play no police game, man. I don't play no police game.
It all points toward a relationship that allegedly began when Celeste was still a child and David was already crossing into adulthood. And from there, the trail only got darker. As investigators dug deeper, the whispers on the streets grew louder and the feds started closing in. What they uncovered didn't just reveal how far this alleged connection between David and Celeste stretched. It also threw a harsh spotlight on the entire music industry for ignoring warning signs that were sitting right in front of them. On September 18th, 2025, the LAPD executed one of the most explosive search warrants LA has seen in years. They raided a Hollywood Hills mansion where David had been staying, seizing electronics and tearing through the property looking for blood evidence. And this wasn't just any random house. It was only 2 blocks away from where David's Tesla was abandoned and later towed with Celeste's remains inside. But here's where it gets even more chilling. The cops weren't doing a basic sweep.
T.I. and Charleston White are back in the news. It seems like they're setting up a boxing match between each other. Guess T.I. didn't like what Charleston White had to say about his son King.
They broke out luminol, the powerful chemical that makes even invisible traces of blood glow under UV light. They combed through drains, floors, and walls, searching for the faintest sign of foul play. That level of forensic digging sends one clear message. Detectives believe this mansion might have been the very scene of the crime, and the revelations only get darker. Reports claim Celeste's body was dismembered, and not all of her remains were ever recovered. That's why detectives were tearing through drains and pipes in the Hollywood Hills mansion, searching for traces of blood and tissue that might have been washed away in a brutal attempt to cover it all up. But the house itself told a story that went beyond forensic evidence. It exposed just how deep David was already moving in the music game.
Everybody know, homie. That man say he a 7-time convicted felon in one song. 7 convicted felons. I would have said 7.
The mansion wasn't even in his name. It was rented by his manager, Josh Marshall, a man tied to Interscope Records. That connection instantly raised alarms. How much did the people around David really know? And how much were they willing to ignore while chasing a superstar payday? And let's talk numbers. The place was renting for a jaw-dropping $20,000 a month. That alone had people asking, how could David, still on the come-up, afford to be living there? The receipts proving he was a resident weren't just rumors. They were undeniable. From his own social media posts alone, it was clear he wasn't just dropping by. He was living there.
Man who ain't got going on, ain't got no real talent, can't do nothing but kick up dust and wait on that fall down so they get dirty and some clout get to them. I know that's how niggas get paid.
Frequently flaunting the mansion lifestyle. The photos and clips from inside the house gave investigators even more ammunition. David wasn't shy about showing off, hosting names like Benny Blanco and the group Cat's Eye inside that very mansion. But police weren't interested in his party vibes. They were hunting for hard evidence tying Celeste directly to the property. And here's the chilling part. Her presence hasn't been publicly confirmed in that house yet, and sometimes silence speaks louder than any discovery. Still, digital evidence started stacking up in ways that were impossible to ignore. Pictures began surfacing of David and Celeste together, one even from a live stream where they appeared side by side, chatting with fans. Reports say David ordered his moderators to delete the footage after it ended, making sure it couldn't stay online. That move alone screams awareness. He knew exactly how damaging it would look if people saw the connection between them. But the image that truly shook the internet? A photo of David and Celeste at what appeared to be an LA event in October 2023. She had just turned 13, while he was 17 or 18 at the time. The setting, the age gap, the photo, it all painted a chilling snapshot of what may have really been happening behind the music and the industry gloss. As the investigation gained momentum, the music industry wasted no time tossing David aside. His withered world tour across North America and Europe canceled in a flash. His big album rollout with Interscope frozen in its tracks. Major brands rushed to distance themselves. Crocs and Hollister dropped him, Kali Uchis pulled their collab song, and even Fortnite wiped his remote clean to erase the connection. The Grammy Museum quietly scrapped his scheduled appearance, and merch tied to his blood-soaked persona, like those infamous red-stained shirts, vanished overnight. But here's the chilling twist. While the industry worked overtime to erase him, the public couldn't stop streaming him. His track Romantic Homicide rocketed up a shocking 102 spots on the global Spotify charts right after the news broke. Overnight, what once felt like just another moody anthem morphed into the eerie soundtrack of this scandal. Now, those lyrics hit different, like a confession hiding in plain sight. And that raised a disturbing question. Was David pulling straight from real-life tragedy to fuel his music? Suddenly, songs like Romantic Homicide don't sound like art. They feel like a diary of obsession and violence. Even the backstory behind the track is unsettling. David admitted that his own mom despised the song so much, her negative reaction actually pushed him to release it. That choice is now being re-examined under the harshest spotlight imaginable. The industry is now staring down an ugly reckoning. Were the red flags sitting in his lyrics the whole time, while executives, fans, and collaborators looked the other way? With everything we know about his alleged ties to Celeste, the music doesn't read like teenage angst anymore. It reads like evidence scribbled in melody. Take a hard listen to Romantic Homicide. Lyrics like, "In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you," paired with the timeline of his alleged connection to Celeste, those words feel like more than dramatic songwriting. They sound like breadcrumbs to something darker. But the most haunting part? While investigators stack evidence, and the industry scrambles to erase his name, David himself has gone radio silent. No statement, no half-hearted apology, not even a cryptic social media post, nothing. And sometimes in scandals this big, silence doesn't just speak, it screams louder than anything he could ever say. The last time David was seen in public was during a Seattle show, just days before LAPD stormed his Hollywood Hills mansion with luminol and drain searches for blood evidence. And since then, nothing but silence. But this isn't just about ducking cameras. Sources close to the case revealed that his legal team yanked him from active cooperation with police. That's a huge shift, because at first, he was reportedly sitting down with detectives. Now, he's locked down and saying absolutely nothing. From a legal perspective, it makes sense. If investigators are literally ripping apart pipes hunting for tissue, speaking without a lawyer could be career-ending, or even life-ending in court. But to the public, to the fans, and to the streets, David's sudden refusal to talk only makes the cloud above him look darker. Every unanswered question is fueling wild speculation that could bury his reputation long before a trial ever does. Law enforcement might be keeping things under wraps, but their actions are speaking louder than any press conference. LAPD has been treating this case with an unusually high level of secrecy, keeping evidence on lockdown tighter than almost any case in recent memory. People are already comparing it to the Brian Kohberger investigation, where the public kept demanding answers. But here's the chilling difference. In that case, nobody knew who the suspect was. In this one, every eye is already locked on David. And the big question that keeps circling, what more do investigators need to officially brand him a suspect? Sure, the Tesla was in his name, but prosecutors still need undeniable proof. They've got to place him either at the moment Celeste lost her life, or at the point her body was shoved into that trunk. Without that smoking gun, the case stays stuck in limbo. But let's be real. The digital evidence stacking up is heavy. Reports say David wasn't only messaging Celeste, he was allegedly in contact with another underage girl, too. If that claim holds water, it points to a disturbing pattern that could bring charges far beyond Celeste's case. And then, there's the timeline. It only makes things look worse. Allegedly, David's first contact with Celeste traces all the way back to 2021, when he was around 16 and she was only 11 or 12. By 2023, their alleged relationship had escalated. David had already turned 18 while Celeste was still just 12 for part of that year. If prosecutors can prove that timeline, they wouldn't even need homicide charges to take him down. Statutory molestation alone would be enough to build a devastating case. Maybe the wildest twist in this entire story is how social media has turned into both the crime scene and the courtroom. The very platforms where David allegedly first connected with Celeste are now the same spaces where people are building a case against him. Reddit threads, TikTok timelines, Twitter breakdowns, online detectives are moving faster than the authorities themselves. But with that speed comes danger. When the streets dish out mob justice before the courts do, the line between accountability and chaos gets razor thin. And the public's reaction? Raw and explosive. Fans who once worshipped David as their rising favorite now feel betrayed, split between deleting every track or still streaming the music that made him famous. His fan base is at battle with itself, half ready to cancel him forever. The other half clinging to the hope that maybe the allegations aren't true. Meanwhile, the industry is getting dragged for ignoring what now look like flashing neon warning signs. Looking back, those signs feel impossible to miss. Beyond romantic homicide and that leaked demo literally titled Celeste, David's videos allegedly carried disturbing visuals. Characters resembling Celeste mixed with violent themes, while his alter ego persona, It For My Eye, leaned deep into dark symbolism tied to her. And one detail that rattled people to the core, Hello Kitty imagery, the same theme tied to the sandals Celeste was last seen wearing. Now fans are questioning if the art was always coded with clues hiding in plain sight. The investigation also pulled back the curtain on Celeste's tragic final months. She wasn't just missing once, she vanished in January 2024 and again in April. Each time it looked like she was being pulled back toward David in Los Angeles, drifting further from her family's safety net. And each return only pulled her deeper into his orbit, leaving her more isolated and vulnerable than before. The weight on her family is almost unbearable. They're enduring unimaginable grief, all while the world watches every move. A GoFundMe had to be launched just to cover her funeral costs. And the most gut-wrenching part? Her own mother stood before cameras and confirmed her daughter was seeing someone named David when she disappeared. That statement, so raw, so damning, was the kind of truth no parent should ever be forced to say out loud. And now the questions just keep piling higher. Will the forensic sweeps inside that Hollywood Hills mansion finally deliver the smoking gun prosecutors need? Will David's seized electronics drop new receipts tying him directly to Celeste? And the biggest question of them all, will David keep hiding in silence, or will he finally crack and speak for himself? This case has already blown far past one artist and one victim. It's become a mirror held up to the entire music industry that ignored warning signs, to social platforms predators can exploit, and to a culture that too often puts profit above protection. And the scariest part, the story still isn't finished. It's unfolding in real time. For now, the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division is still grinding, digging through seized devices and chasing down every scrap of digital forensics pulled from that mansion. Meanwhile, the internet is buzzing with wild rumors, everything from claims of dismemberment to speculation about pregnancy based on an old David tweet. None of that has been confirmed officially, but the whispers keep stacking shadows onto an already grim story. What is clear is that this case has shifted how people view the dangerous overlap between music, social media, and the exploitation of vulnerable young fans. The evidence paints a picture way bigger than one tragic loss. It shows how the signs were sitting in plain sight, lyrics, videos, cryptic posts, and yet they were brushed aside by an industry chasing money and fans more focused on vibes than the red flags flashing in front of them. And the timing? Beyond chilling. Romantic Homicide dropped on September 7th, Celeste's birthday. Whether that was some calculated move or a twisted coincidence, investigators are definitely dissecting it. And the most disturbing layer? The song is now skyrocketing up the charts in the wake of her passing, turning tragedy into entertainment. A haunting cycle where grief gets repackaged as streams and playlists for the masses. This case leaves us with a messy, uncomfortable question. Where do we draw the line between art and reality? When an artist spits violent bars, is it just dark creativity? Or is it a confession hiding in plain sight? The leaked Celeste demo, stuffed with references to tattoos and obsession, paired with the fact that David and Celeste shared matching ink, makes it feel like the music was echoing real life in the most disturbing way possible. And while the world waits on the homicide angle, legal experts are already warning charges could still rain down heavy on David. Even without proving direct involvement in Celeste's passing, the evidence of an inappropriate relationship with a minor, plus reports of him allegedly messaging other underage girls, could stack into multiple counts of exploitation. In other words, the walls are closing in fast no matter how this plays out. The suffering Celeste's family has had to endure through this nightmare is beyond words. They're mourning their daughter while the entire world dissects every detail of her final months. And through it all, the dignity they've shown while working with investigators proves just how strong they are in the face of unimaginable tragedy. This case is a brutal reminder that behind every viral headline sits real people, real pain, and a life stolen too soon. Celeste Rivas Hernandez wasn't just a name trending on timelines. She was a 15-year-old girl with a future ripped away, maybe by someone she trusted most. And while David's silence and his legal team's tight strategy might be legally smart, it stands in sharp contrast to the mountain of evidence piling up, and the outrage growing louder across the public. The truth is that silence can't hold forever. As the case pushes forward and more receipts hit daylight, the pressure to speak will only get louder. And whatever the final outcome, the damage is already permanent. Celeste's family will never get her back. David's career is shattered, and the entire music industry has been forced to face the ugly reality of the artists and content they've been cashing in on. So now I want to hear from you. How do you think this case is going to end up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you on the next one.